sitting comfortably, then we'll begin.
Wow! Hello, everybody. Oh, Dick Dawson's on the screen. Look at that. It's not him. He's not going to be talking much tonight because he's a little bit poorly. Oh, poor little sausage. So I'm going to be kind of like, hosting the show tonight a little bit. So you'll get to see my little face pop up every now and then. Now, we also have a fantastic panel of people on here tonight. But our main special guest is Alex from Iran, and he's going to tell us about the situation over there. You know, thanks to the media not really covering things very much, and there's a big media blackout, we don't really hear very much. So Alex is here to help fill us with the details. Now, people in the chat, you lovely, lovely people. We do have Amy Hogan here tonight, who's going to be, corralling all your questions. So if you have a question for Alex or anybody else on the team for that matter, don't forget to tag the Shills and put your question in, and we'll take it from there. And we'll hand over to Amy when she has some questions to come in. So I'm going to hand over to Loki Fish Mars, who's going to be taken over from me at this moment in time until I jump in and be annoying. So, salam, Loki.
Evening, everybody. How are you all doing out there? I hope nobody's driving while watching this show. That would be absolutely horrible. With this panel, this is an awful lot of people in here. How do we cram everybody in this phone booth? I don't know. Anyway, so tonight we have our wonderful personal friend of myself and Kat's, Alex from Iran, who's going to tell us what's going on. And by the way, any donations tonight, there is a pinned link for donations. Just tag it as for Alex, and I will personally make sure that he receives the money. So say hello, Alex.
Greetings and hi. Thanks for having me again, and happy to be here.
Good, good. Let's see. Oh, we have Commander 401 in here this evening, too. Say hello, Commander.
Well, I tell you what we'll do. Commando 4 is here tonight. We also have Nick Suter. We have Cats in Studios, and obviously we have Loki Fish Mars. We have
Hello.
Amy Hope, and we have Dick Dawson, who's going to be sniffling in the background, so ignore him. And the main guest is Alex. So let's find out, Loki, what Alex's latest situation's like.
I understand that there was some recent protests over there. What can you tell us about that, Alex?
Well, there has been some, can't call them laws exactly, but verdicts from our supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, during the holidays, the Nowruz holidays, which is the New Year's, like the Christmas for us Iranians, goes back to like 4,000, 5,000 years ago. In any case, he basically gave verdicts to double down on pressures on people and like bring back the full might of the morality police and all of that stuff. And on the 14th of the new year, which is the day the holidays are ended and people go back to their work and to school and stuff like that, there was yet again more school attacks, school poisonings, even though for some reason people had thought, oh, it's done now. It has been holidays and they probably have forgotten and given up for some reason. Everyone sent their children back to school for some reason, and there was yet more poisonings. This and some of the verdicts that Ali Khamenei did give, and the new pressure they are putting on women resulted in the new protests in Tehran and some other cities. And it was actually quite good. It brought back so much hope for many people who thought that the revolutionaries are getting soft. A really fantastic amount of people came out. Didn't have as much casualties, and we are hopeful. And at the same time, again, the government has started their psychological warfare as well, as they have stopped giving service to women who don't wear full hijab in many places, like in the airports or you name it, in the gas stations and wherever they could control. They have stopped giving service to people, which is terrible because we kind of need those services to continue to live. And worse than that, something that has happened to me and my wife on the streets, there is now these uh, Basiji, what do you call them? I don't think they have a name. I will Google that later. But there are these agents of the government that, in like normal clothing and in their car, while they're passing by, if they see anyone without hijab, they would start calling them names, and names that usually aren't the word whore, but it means whore. And they have started doing that. They, all in all, have started a psychological war and are promising to make everything much worse in the coming days. And with all that, we have decided to show them that we are not gone. We're still here. If you dare try us, we will try your limits and capabilities as well.
Yeah, I had read an article here recently about the poisonings resuming, and some of the back chatter on it was now the regime is blaming extremists for the poisoning, which doesn't make any sense because that actually makes them look rather weak if they have extremists running around doing all these poisonings. So, yeah, that was really hard to read that this has started up again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I personally am not letting anyone close to me go back to schools and stuff. And they are sure to continue blame someone else. They started with America, Israel, even France, and they are now calling it the fault of extremists, which in any of those cases, it just means you're not fit for government. Just step down. What the fuck?
Yeah, it is a really rather odd position for extremists to be calling out, blaming alleged extremists. Yeah. There was an article about a rapper that did a protest song that was arrested here recently. You wouldn't happen to have anything on that? The articles are actually rather vague.
Many rappers have done revolutionary songs and have been arrested, and some of them not heard of. Which one are you talking about?
I believe the name is, and pardon me if I butcher the name, Tumaj Saleh.
Oh, it's not recent. Tumaj was arrested before I came to the show for the first time even. He's been arrested for a long time. Let me look something up real fast through my notes and stuff to see if he was executed yet or not.
Yeah, because I believe that was one of the concerns from the family.
I will look that up and see if he is executed or not. I have a note on it somewhere. We'll continue while I find my notes.
That's a harsh review.
Yeah, really. I mean, I can understand not liking somebody's music, but to arrest them and try to execute them, that's pretty rough.
Well,
so thankfully he's not executed yet, but he's still in prison, and there has been claims from the government that he's all right and wishes everyone a good new year. We haven't heard it from himself, of course. That's the situation. We don't know what's happening to him inside the prison. I might be lost. No, he's not. He's not freed yet. But it's been some time. Maybe not as much long back, not as long back as I just mentioned, but he's been arrested for some time now.
And it's just now finding its way into our news. Goodness.
So I also understand that if Dick could pull up Article 2, it looks like the Iran regime is banning U.S. dollars, holding U.S. dollars, in order to try and bolster their rather failing economy at this point.
They're trying. There are still black markets active, but they are trying their best to slam down everything. Does that word even make sense? They're trying to stop the circulating of dollars, yes, and basically everything else. Actually, today when I was out and about, I saw many establishments and shops were closed down by the government. What you call that? Polom. I need a Google Translate next to me. I sometimes lose my words.
Oh, that's understandable.
Google
I live in
Translate
America and
cannot understand it. In
I live in America, and sometimes I can't English either. So
sealed by the government. Most of them establishments who either cater to people like giving food or something like that, because they have a reason to do that, because if you give services to anyone who's not wearing hijab, you're actively committing crimes. And especially during the Ramadan, if you give anyone food, you're again are committing a crime. And so many people have lost their ability to work right now. They are generally trying to make everything harder for everyone, because when you don't have any bread to eat, you won't have any energy to protest. They are making everything much pricier. I always forget this word.
More
Expensive, much more
expensive?
expensive. Yeah. And again, promise in their TV and everything that, oh, we're going to make this necessity of life 40% more expensive. We are going to make this one 30% more expensive. Like it's a good news they are giving us or something.
yeah, I believe I read an article somewhat related to that. It would be Article 3 if Dick could pull that up. It looks like Iran's going through hyperinflation at this point. They are just literally just printing money, which is worthless. And looking at some of it, it's 50, 60% hyperinflation. So you're pretty much getting pennies on the dollar at this point, which would explain why everything keeps going up. Let's see. Yeah, it was 63%. The worst hyperinflation since World War II, which is absolutely insane. So that totally makes sense why the donations that we send you is going towards things like food and medical supplies and everything else, because when you factor in the black market, that's just going to push the prices up even more.
Yeah. On that, we spoke last episode about what we're going to do with that donation money. I did find some time to speak with other people, and right now, unfortunately, we can't afford to spend it on anything but food for. We have started this secret program of giving people money and food items so they can continue exist without having to bend to the government. Many that number just went up with all the uh, shops and establishments that were sealed by the government. So that's where we've been spending the donation money, and we'll be spending anything else for now.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do what you need to do, and that's totally understandable, especially considering I don't have a link to the article, but there was word that the regime was actually destroying medicine.
Yeah.
Would you know anything about that? They were actually destroying medicine?
Yeah, because if it's there, someone will eventually smuggle it out and give it to people, so they will just get rid of it. I unfortunately don't have any footage of it, but yeah, I have seen it.
How awful.
Didn't the regime say that they were going to disband the morality police and replace them with a kinder, softer, like I don't know, like a morality suggestion patrol or something like that?
They kind of pointed at that, like, oh yeah, we're going to make it kind of like that. And then during the holidays, they just said we're going to send the morality police back out, and we're not going to be easier on you.
Now that was a concession to try to stop the protests. Was the initial suggestion that they were going to do that? Did that cause the protesters to sort of dial it back some? And if so, do they now regret that? And it has momentum slowed?
They kind of tried using that, but Ali Khamenei said we will not give bribes to criminals and terrorists, which is us, and everyone in this room, and in America, and all the world. And so everything, the rest of the government promise just goes out the window without any backlash from anyone, because, hey, the supreme leader said so. We can't say no to the supreme leader. Basically, that.
For a while, most of the internal civil services had slowed down or even grind to a halt. The University of Tehran was involved, a number of other institutions. What's the status of that? Is the University of Tehran back in business? Are they still have they still sort of suspended operations? What's going on with that? And what's going on with the rest of the civil infrastructure right now?
Unfortunately, I can't talk about the universities. I have people going there and looking and saying no one's there. And then we have people telling us, yeah, the classes are rolling and everything's going as normal. So I can't say for certain. I'm not a student anymore myself. I haven't seen firsthand. The rest of the government control civil service, they are in business, but they aren't giving service to everyone. As I just said, like, if you don't have a job, or if you're with someone who doesn't have a job, you're not going to be served.
One of the people that you know was captured by what is it, the Republican Guard? Was it no, it wouldn't be the Republic. It was the Iranian. Oh, I'm too tired. I see. I can't. I don't speak English. Thank you. Revolutionary Guard. My English is roughly on par. Who was it? Who was it? You said that it turned her in.
One of her relatives, unfortunately, can't say the exact relationship, but one of her relatives turned her in. We have had to cut communications with her, unfortunately. She's supposedly free right now, but again, we can't trust anything. She did give off signs that I am under watch, with basically violating every security measure we have had in place the exact moment she was freed. So we've had to cut communications with her. We haven't even seen her, don't know what happened to her exactly. She was there for, I think, 2 or something about 2 or 3 weeks. Don't remember exactly. My mind is too busy to keep track.
Well, now but she activated her Twitter account again, which seems a little odd. What does that signify anything?
That was one of our security measures. If you come out, you're not going to reactivate your previous things at all, and if you're safe, we will set something new up. She came out and immediately reactivated her Twitter account, so we haven't reconnected with her anymore.
Now, do you think that she did that on purpose, or do you think she did that under duress?
I think she had orders to reactivate her Twitter because that's how she connects with everyone. And I think she did it anyway because she knew that we will be tipped off.
So this friend now basically, basically it sounds like she's been turned into a landmine for you guys. I mean, basically they're hoping that somebody's, stupid enough to even just check in on her and say, "Are you okay? You've just been through one of the worst experiences of your life. Is everything fine?" And it sounds like that would be a rather big no-no.
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as we want to help her somehow, we don't have the means right now.
Well, yeah, sorry, no, I didn't want to dominate, so please.
What would you need? Pardon me. What would you need in order to be able to help her? You said you didn't have what you needed.
To really help her, we will need to relocate her and her whole family, while we're pretty sure they are under watch. So it means a fight, and then getting away from the police and everything else, and finding somewhere safe. We do have safe houses, but we have to get them out of there first, and we'll need to move her whole family too, because if we just move her, her family will be in danger, and it's just like we made everything worse.
Well, and if a member of her family turned her in, you have to be careful. Presumably you guys have some idea of who it was, so you wouldn't want to bring them along, but that begs a lot of problems because it's a family, and if you deliberately exclude one person, who do you bring along and who don't you becomes, I would imagine, a thorny issue for everybody involved.
Basically, if we try to help her right now, they will be runaways until the regime has been brought down. We do have one family like this right now in our immediate circle. We don't wish this upon anyone else. But we'll see if we might be forced to do that. If, again, her being out, if it bears no fruit for the government, they might decide to just start putting more pressure on her and on her family. And if that happens, we will be forced to do this. We are trying to hold out as long as possible and hope for the best right now.
A horrible situation for anybody to be in. Coming quite quickly here, we got a super chat in that came in quite early in the show, and they're probably wondering if they were being ignored. But no, they weren't being ignored. We're just taking our time. The super chat is from Secular Sekai for $9.99. Says Zan Zendigei Azidi. I think I butchered that. It probably means death to the west or something, for all I know. It says women, life, liberty, more Khomeini Mullah government. Thank you very much for having Alex on. Yeah, we're very, very honoured to have Alex with us here tonight. And yeah, sorry, Alex. No, I wasn't. The whole death of the West thing was just a crass joke from a white man over here. We do have a question in from the gang in the chat. So please don't forget, if you want to ask Alex a question, just tag the Shills. And so Alex, before we go to that question, what does Zanzedegi Azidi actually mean?
Zan means woman, Zendegi means life, and Azadi means freedom.
So that's what they say in the chat. Women, life, and liberty. Yes. Okay, thank you. I learn something every day, and I will forget it tomorrow. So, Amy, are you here for that little question we have in the chat? Amy, wakey, Amy. All right, okay, I'll go to it. Where is it?
I'll take care of it.
Okay, you got the chat. You got the question?
I've got the question.
Okay.
With Hey MJ asks, with Saudi and Iranian ambassadors reestablishing relations, does the freedom movement see the talks as progress or a step backwards?
It's the talks with Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
It's backwards for us, because if they start finding more allies, well, Saudi Arabia, of course, wants to keep the people of the regime, people of Iran down, because if Iran becomes what we want it to become, we will no longer be a threat to America. And Saudi Arabia will lose so much that they have gained from our enmity. They will lose money, they will lose investment. They won't be able to basically talk down to the rest of the world, because they have the majority of the oil that America and Europe is buying. They will lose their standing and power, so it is in their best interest if the revolution fails and Iran stays this anti-world country. And on the other hand, most of the people in government in Iran are actually either Arabs themselves or have people in Saudi Arabia, have connections there. It's just friends shaking down the pretense of being enemies and taking the same side again. It's not good for us. No, it's terrible.
Well, do you think that this is the talks between Saudi Arabia and Iran? Do you think this is somewhat related to the outside of the sanctions deals with China with oil in Iran? Because China is definitely involved in this.
I think it all goes. Saudi Arabia wants to join this secret alliance of China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. I think it's them taking a side more than anything. But I might be a stupid conspiracy theorist, who knows?
Yeah, that's actually kind of how it looks on my side of the water too. That it's, they're trying to get together and get away from any influences from Europe, the West, the United States, and trying to push them off and gain a bit more control.
Yeah. In any case, it's not good for the people of Iran, with whatever the reason.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I did have a couple of other articles that I came across this week. There was an article about a renowned Iranian filmmaker dying, and it being a bit vague. In fact, the official word is, oh, he just died of old age. However, the other side of it is, no, he took his life. What have you heard?
Where was he? Who are we talking about?
Iranian film director Kumar's Pourahmad.
Kumar's Pourahmad.
Yes.
That's terrible news. I'm hearing it from you.
Oh my. Yes, the 1, 2, 3, 4th
16
article.
of Harvardine. That's I didn't. Fuck. Sorry.
And looking through the article,
he's been making movies for 50 years now.
Yeah, I actually when I came across his IMDb page after I read the article, I looked at a couple of the movies and ended up sampling a bit, and wow, he was really good, just an award-winning director. And from the articles that I've seen,
His latest movie isn't even like shown yet. It's about the execute. His latest movie was The Case Is Still Open. It's not shown to the people yet. It's about the new generation and basically talks about the execution verdict and stuff like that. It's a bit. He's been on the side of the people for most part, from what I know. But again, not radically. He never spoke like radically on either side. He's been open in his support of Mir Hossein Mousavi and like Rouhani, and these are people who were supposed to be the reformists. They of course turned out to be actually just puppets in a puppet show, not true reformists at all. Rouhani proved that to everyone. But Mousavi, for example, was the leader of the first revolutionary act I saw with my own eyes when I was a kid. It was the revolution of '88, which in Europe years is it's basically something about 20 years ago. And Mousavi is still in house arrest. We haven't heard anything from him. We don't know what side he's on. He was supposed to be on the side of the people. We don't know if it was true or not. I officially, it seems, I'm looking stuff up and asking people. He has killed himself and has written 8 pages of a suicide note, which the police has right now. Yeah, and the police itself, the judiciary system has confirmed that he had killed himself.
That's terribly tragic.
It is. I loved some of his movies. Like The Stories of Majid was one of my favorite. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I didn't know. Sorry.
We do have a new question if Amy would like to bring it up. Amy?
My microphone is not working. Sorry about that. I think it's my mouse. We do have a new question. It's from Hey MJ, who is a new member, who says, "Who's next in the Shah line of succession?"
Prince Reza had basically abdicated his rights to the throne, so his daughter Noor Pahlavi is next to the throne of the Pahlavi line. She is, I think, a lawyer, a human rights activist, and her education, I don't exactly remember. Something about, I think, what's the word in English? So it's been a long day. My mind is a bit fuzzy. Construction and buildings and stuff. I can't remember the exact word. But she's
architecture.
Yeah, she's 33 years old and has been declared next in line by the late. She's still alive. When I say late, I mean she's not the queen right now. The previous queen, Farah Pahlavi, as in the next in line. Then Reza said he's abdicating from his rights.
I see.
Now, we also had another super chat from Secular Sakai. The question was for $1.99, how to send Starlink terminals. Any tips? Now, we had this discussion last time Alex was on, and I think the simple answer was that don't, because a Starlink link over there would be a hot target, easy to find, and then immediate imprisonment, beheadment, or whatever. So I think that's my answer to that. Anybody else got any opinion on that?
Yeah, it does paint a target on your back, and like I had suggested, the best thing to do is donations, because I'm personally making sure that Alex gets the donations that come in through the link that I dropped in chat, and essentially let him and the people that he works with purchase what they need versus us trying to send equipment to them.
Basically what Lokifish said, we don't have a smuggler who can bring in terminals right now. There had been like a couple smugglers who claimed that turned out to be Revolutionary Guard spies. So some people already are arrested for that. We don't have a trusted smuggler for Starlinks, and we do have smugglers for other things right now that we can use the donations to buy things from, like medicine. And yeah, I'm not going to say the rest of the end.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a really sad situation. For those wanting to help out, to be completely honest, donations are the best way to go. Because do a little research, look at what the French resistance had to do during World War II. They're just handing off things one person to another, stuff they just happen to have on hand. That's what Alex and the other freedom fighters in Iran are dealing with. It's very hands-on kind of situations.
And also, like Alex was pointing out, as far as donations concerned, and yes, please, we'd like to see some more direct donations to him. Just food and things like that. That's what they need at the minute, as well as all these covert connections and communication lines. But just food. That's the really sad part of the story.
Yeah, and with
food solves so many things. Food makes people able to shut down everything they're doing. If we had enough to feed a large enough amount of people, we could bring bring a city to its knee at least, obviously, if we had enough to feed the whole country, we would be able. But feeding a whole country is a much harder task that is obviously we can't pull off right now. But yeah, food is really important, and I found its importance when I didn't have any. So
Well, you can't be much of a freedom fighter if you're weak and hungry. You need to, like they say, you need to march on a full stomach.
yeah, more importantly, if your children are hungry, I can go
Absolutely.
weeks without food, but I can't let my 5-year-old go weeks without food, and no one else can. So we can't expect people to respond to our invitations to come to the streets and protest if they don't have anything to eat.
So I have a question for you. Walk us through just a typical day for someone in Iran right now.
Someone in Iran is a really broad term. Some people are lucky enough that they don't even see things that are happening in the street. We have, to my knowledge, 3 types of people. One wakes up, goes to his job, has a fun day, and on his way back sees the police doing their job protecting them and arresting terrorists. Another wakes up, goes to his job, and sees people being caught by the evil police and continues to his home. Some people wake up, they can't go to any job anymore, and they walk everywhere with the fear that they might have been caught on some fucking camera somewhere and might get arrested at any moment. Each street and alleyway might be a trap. So there is variety. And again, like in any country, some people are flying on their personal jets, never seeing it, I think. I had the opportunity to talk to someone who lives in Iran and didn't know anything had happened at all because he's really rich and a mullah. Ugh.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're going to run into people like that in any situation in any country. Those that just don't care. That hey, as long as they have their popcorn or whatever, the rest of the world could go to hell. They don't care. Yeah. I was speaking more towards those that are aware that something's wrong.
Most conversations are around politics and what's going to happen to us and how we're going to live and what's Reza Pahlavi doing. Some clashes of minds about, oh, what if he betrays us like Khomeini did and actually takes power and things like that. So conversations when friendly are those. We unfortunately, at least I am not seeing people who have the luxury of talking about movies anymore. Uh, Usually we are, some people still do have jobs again and have bended down to not giving service to people without a job or have just got away with it so far. And they are mostly saving money and food in case, well, things are going to get harder, so we have to save up. Those who are more active, again, are, it's a bit hard. Uh, well, most people are trying to save something for themselves and their children and trying to secure a place where they just won't die. They debate whether we can go out today and protest again, or will we go out and find no one answering to our calls and just get put down? There's that's a really big issue in so many people's minds. I want to go protest against these polices that are standing on the sidewalk. I want to talk back to these people who are calling my sister, my mother whores, belittling us. But what if I talk back and no one supports me? Some people do talk back, and when they do, people generally do support them. And the ones talking shit to our families would usually be too afraid to engage right then and flee. But the fear is there. The day to day is for men to see these acts of prejudice happen and for women to be subjected to it. I can't talk to the full experience of a woman because I'm a man and I still am benefiting from so much more freedom. I haven't been pushed out of the airport yet, but I can only imagine what it would be like to go to buy medicine and being told we're not giving you any service because your hair is showing. It's
Yeah,
shitty.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, I've never been in a situation like yours, but yeah, I've been homeless, not had food, not had, shelter over my head and things like that. And even here in the US, hey, if you're homeless, yeah, the cops will harass you, things like that. But yeah, it's a really rough place to be. And now that I got a family and everything, wake up in the morning, my first concern is, my daughter, how's she doing? How's her day at school? Things like that. I can't imagine what it is like to wonder, is my daughter going to get beaten or poisoned or harassed just for going to school, just for being who she is?
Yesterday I saw something that warmed, and it was like, all right, with all of the people that died, with everything we've been through, at least my people have the courage and the the thought that we are safe because our people are protecting us, that they could go out like this. I went to a restaurant yesterday to pick something up, and I saw 13-year-olds with their moms, none of them wearing hijab, some of them even wearing like normal dress. To the rest of the world is normal dress, to us it's supposed to be a slutty. Uh, Basically, like long skirts and comfortable dresses. And they were celebrating one of the 13-year-old's birthday. And it was such a happy sight for me. Today, I was passing by that same restaurant and it was shut down. And I didn't even need to inquire why, because they let someone celebrate their 13-year-old daughter's birthday in that restaurant.
Dear God. That's insane.
It's a kid's birthday. That's a good, happy, fun birthday with family is so important when you're young. And to give a family or a restaurant crap about that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Even when they're still following their rules.
Exactly. Last time I checked, there's no rule against being happy.
Well, the 13-year-olds didn't have a job, so there's a rule against that.
That's horrendous. Now, we also have an article here in our list about more than 20,000 Iranian girls under 15 got married over the course of 9 months. Is that a regular thing?
The Islamic Republic has been acting kind of weird. That's not a regular thing. They have always like advertised for 9-year-olds and above to be married. They always advertise that. They advertise it on in their religion, but no, people did not do that. That's not regular. I don't know what's the story behind that. Why they got married? If they are just like the pro-regime families that are saying yes to the words of Imam, or if they are being forced to it, God forbid. But the regime as a whole has been shifted its attention. There were once upon a time normal kids shows. We had someone like we really liked. Most of our generation grew up with them, like Uncle Amu Khanad and Amu Purang, Uncle Purang, basically, which were like kids show personalities that have not been getting jobs because the kids show jobs are being given to mullahs who, by the way, talk about having husbands to 9-year-olds on their birthdays. And generally, I saw one of the Iranian shows. I have never been showing them to my kids since I had him, but I did unfortunately see one of these shows, and it was horrendous. It was like trying to brainwash 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds to be ready to basically, what's the word you call for it, to have a 9-year-old and basically train her to be an excellent wife. That's what they are doing on TV.
It's terrible.
That's what, yeah. And it's surprisingly really focused on being good wives and being ready for marriage. I don't know where we're going with this, but
That's
I know where we're going.
so. It seems like the regime has decided to put their psychological warfare into their children's shows then.
Yeah, make sure the next generation will have husbands on their 14-year birthday and never say no to anyone. Yeah.
Goodness. So, what's new in your life then?
Huh?
What's new in your life as far as being a revolutionary and the work that you do? What's going on in Alex's little corner of the world?
Well, through these interviews, I was basically selected to be kind of our group's spokesperson because I had already started doing so. And I'm supposed to, as far as the revolutionary stuff, have been moved to the, what do you call it? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Okay. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because now that I'm thinking about it, I shouldn't be saying that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know what I can say actually.
Okay.
I was nearly sent to a mission that we found someone more suitable for. So there was a chance that I won't be on this show today. Someone else went to do that, so I'm here now. That's all I can share.
Which is wonderful. I mean, has what's been going on had an effect on your son?
I've been trying to keep him from it. Unfortunately, I haven't been much successful. He doesn't understand it. He's not at the age where he understands what's happening, but he does like going out. He doesn't say, let's go to a park. He doesn't say, let's go out and have food. He says, let's go Zanzandagi Azadi, which is, I've been trying to make him not say that, because if he says that somewhere that's not safe, that's all of our heads. But unfortunately, maybe too much talk of politics and revolution in the house. Unfortunately,
That's
on the other
unfortunate.
side, it's kind of fortunate because he seems to understand some things. I saw him today with the kids. He was playing with the kids near our house, all like 5, 6 year old kids, and like three of them were basically trying to push their way into playing with one of the girls, and my son just went there and started attacking them. I don't know if I should scold him or be proud.
Yeah, I have those moments too. Don't worry. Or you're like, yeah, I'm not sure if I should be mad about this or not.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't understand much of what's happening, and I try to keep the news off the TV and in the phone.
That's very good. I mean, I'm sure that this is a stressful time for everyone, and you kind of want to minimize stress on the wee ones.
Yep. Mhm.
So I had a question. I have a question for you, Alex. In the background, we were trying to set up an avatar for you, to put a face to the voice, and I asked you for people that you identified with, and you picked out somebody in particular. You picked out, let's see, was Cyrus the Great.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Cyrus the Great and why you personally identify with him.
Cyrus was the son of one of the, I don't remember the name of the previous king before Cyrus, but one of the kings of Iran before the Hachamaneshi, I think, what do you call the Hachamaneshi? Uh, Achaemenid, you call it for some reason. Achaemenid age, something. He was the son of one of that king's daughters and the satrap of Fars, that the king had a dream that he would take his place. Cyrus would overthrow him and take his place, and so he gave an order for Cyrus to be killed at birth. Not her mother, but the person that was supposed to help with the child's birth, the midwife, steals Cyrus and in place puts his own son to be killed in place of Cyrus, and smuggles Cyrus out and gives him to a shepherd, the people who like take sheep out to eat and stuff. The shepherd takes him, and this particular shepherd, based on what we know of our history and legend, was a really wise man. Takes him out and uh, lets him grow by with him, grows him. It's not a plant, it's not grow. and teaches him
Raises him.
about raises him and teaches him about morality and the values of freedom and goodness and being good to people and stuff like that. Makes him basically a philosopher. And when he was still a teenager, brings him back to the kingdom's capital, and he doesn't bring him back to go meet his family. While this shepherd was out taking the sheep with him to eat, Cyrus meets some children who are princes and princesses of the realm who snuck out to play, and he starts playing with them. And through accident after accident, basically, if we are to believe the stories of history and legend, he gets to meet his mother, and the mother recognizes him and brings him back into the family. The grandfather, of course, is pissed. The child of the prophecy is back. What? And tries to kill him again. His mother smuggles him out and sends him to his father, where he starts to slowly but surely accumulate a force and eventually overthrows the king and takes his place. What everyone in Iran loves about him is he's a beacon of freedom and peace for everyone. Cyrus was a king that never conquered anywhere. He did basically conquer many places, but he moved his mighty immortal soldiers anywhere the people requested. He stopped the slavery immediately after becoming the king. He stopped most evil. I don't know what evils were there, but he's supposed to be a really good king. And for example, he's even mentioned in the what's the Hebrews book of thingy?
Bible. He's mentioned in the Bible.
He's mentioned in the Bible.
He
Yeah.
returned the Jewish people to their homeland, but he also returned a lot of other people who were hauled away from their homelands back, and he was a very cosmopolitan in other words, he didn't force his gods on you. All he wanted was like taxes and soldiers, and he let people govern themselves pretty much.
Yeah. And he always went anywhere with an invite. Like the Jewish asked him to help, and anywhere else. And he wrote the thingy of human rights, the slab of human rights thingy. And that was again rewritten by one of his children's children. But he is a role model of being good and valuing people and their freedom and seeing people as people, not as assets and slaves and commoners and serfs.
Yeah, I did some reading up on him, and I think he's credited as what would be the modern equivalent of the first like Bill of Human Rights.
Yes, that was just human rights, a slap thingy that I was talking about.
Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing that somebody in that time period is like, yeah, I'll set you free. Hey, if you're being a jerk, I'll kick your butt. But you know what? Everybody just get along. That was just, I found it really awesome that what I read, what I found out, that he was one of the people that you identified with, because it makes a lot of sense considering what's going on. Now, there looks like there were a couple questions in there.
Well, we got some. We have some direct donations that came in. So we have from Silver Earth, $20. I hope you can enjoy holidays, freedom for Iran. Secular Sakai comes in again with 199. How to send Starlink Tim. No, we did that one. We did that one. That was a super chat. We have Secular Sakai again, $5. Stay strong. And Sea of Beauty for $10. From the Shills says stay strong. So everybody's staying strong. Now we also had a very particular question from Secular Sakai. It says, give me the dollar amount for how much money will help Alex live okay for a month and be prepped for his next op mission. So that, Alex, is directed at you. How many dollars do you need a month, basically?
To live or to live comfortably? That's
to live okay. Live okay. So I guess that's
okay.
in between. Yeah, to live and to live comfortably. I suppose okay, so somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. To live okay, something around $200.
$200. So there you go. There's your answer. And it also says, and be prepped for his next operation or mission. Now I'm not too sure what that could possibly mean.
Next operation we have is calculated to be. We have, I think, why am I trying to give away information about the mission itself?
No, just how much?
People. We need around 500 for the equipment and personnel.
So there you go. Secular Sakai, there's your answer. So he wants 200 a month just to live okay, and the next operational mission will be $500. That's
yeah. So if we
quite a heap of cash.
Yeah, if we could do 800 a month recurring, boom, done.
That would be fabulous, but we would have to have some very generous watchers for that to occur, like Secular Sakai. If we could just have more of that.
It's a big ask, but you never know. You never know. Loki, you said we had some questions.
Well, thank you.
Well, there was a question in there from Andrew Petrie. Like, I wonder what Iranian goat milk ice cream tastes like.
Goat milk ice cream? I never had any. I hope it tastes good. Goat milk is really expensive. And really expensive, yeah. So I have never had any.
That's incredible because goats produce a lot of milk and they're easy to care for and they breed very well. So what's
well, it has a word extra with milk with it. Like milk is one word, sheer, and goat milk is shire, boz. So for that one extra word, they can just frame it as fancy and sell it on a higher price.
But it's easier to cultivate than cow's milk.
Well, most goats are like killed for meat. So I don't have goats, so I don't know why exactly it's higher price. I can just only guess and make guesstimations.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my parents own a farm and they raise goats, and goat milk makes the best cheese. It's good.
All I know is goats are a lot easier to milk than camels. a much shorter stool.
I will say maybe people in like more rural parts of the country do have that regularly, but the city folk don't get their hands on that stuff. And if they do, it's on a really high price.
Yeah, you're too busy milking Toyotas.
We're too busy trying to spot one. But yeah.
Actually, he said that they harvest goat for meat. Do you have any particular goat-based dishes that you enjoy?
I don't eat goat. I don't eat most sorts of meat. That's why I can operate on $200. If I was to eat too much meat, like even a little bit meat, that would go up to $400 to live okay for a month. I don't eat meat too much, and I think the only mediums where I do eat meat is in a pizza or like a hot dog or basically junk food and kebab. Kebab could be it's a
Hey,
special kind
kebabs
of
are
kebab.
awesome.
Yeah, that's the
Now,
only medium where I eat meat.
guys, now you won't believe this. Secular Sakai has donated 606.84 Canadian dollars. Women, life, liberty. Never stop fighting. Live well, and take $250 of this for your team, brother. Holy crap! Secular
Thank
Sakai,
you, Secular
thank you
Sakai.
so much. Thank you so much. I think I'll let Alex do the proper thanks.
Well, I did not expect. Thank you, and I don't know what to say. I did not. I would have said some lower number if I knew you were going to do that.
Or higher. That is incredibly generous. We really can't thank you enough, Secular Sakai. That is amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. That is much appreciated. And actually, it looks like we're getting a donation storm right now because I just had 3 more donations come in.
Yes.
Or 2. Either way, Silver Earth, $10. You're an amazing person. Keep up the good work and bless you and your family. And then from Mark Garcia, $20 donation for Alex. Simple and sweet. Again, thank you guys very much. Very much. I definitely make sure that that Alex does get the donation. Wow.
It's incredible, and thank you all so much.
I'm right.
It is fantastic. All right. Well, do you have any plans to return to school or further your career in any fashion? Like, have you thought about the future after this?
I had studied law. I don't think. Well, I absolutely am not going back to study the Islamic law anymore. Absolutely not. When I came out of that, I started studying on myself 3D art and modeling and stuff like that. And
Which,
if
from
I
what I've
find the
seen,
time,
you're doing incredible at.
I try. It's most of the equipment for it is really like expensive stuff, which I'm not going to invest in this situation. But if things get better, I probably will get a proper education in animation and 3D art and stuff like that. I'm a game designer by nature, so
That's fantastic. And I wish you the best of luck in that. Has your son expressed any interest in things when he gets bigger? As far as
my
things he wants
son,
to do in the future?
I, I I don't think he has the capacity to do that right now. I call him 5, but he's actually 4. He's just grown really well.
Mm-hmm.
He does show interest in anything electronic to the detriment of his mother.
What about your wife? What does she do for a living?
She would be a singer, but it's illegal in Iran. She has an
What?
incredible voice, and yeah, it's illegal
I-
for women to sing in Iran.
But she's got such a beautiful voice.
Well, she trains daily, but does not have any platform or any way to be heard. We did try to like make YouTube videos for her once, but we didn't know how to do YouTube, so it got just flopped and never seen by anyone.
That's unfortunate.
Mhm.
Does she have any plans to, like, if it becomes legal, would she pursue that?
Absolutely, that's her dream. One of her dreams is to be on America's Got Talent, and the other is to actually do what she loves to do.
That's incredible. And I think it's important that you're able to look past what's going on, to imagine something better actually being within reach. And I can certainly say that from what I've read, it looks like that something better is not quite in reach, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like the end of the tunnel is visible. So the regime is not immortal, at least.
The regime is not immortal at all. Actually, recently there has been a lot of comparisons to what happened in other countries, and it's basically history repeating itself. One way or another, this regime will go away. It's, as I said in, I think it was in the In Time show with Nick. Oh, Nick is gone. I was not paying attention. Uh, One way or another, it will go away. It's just a matter of time and how much blood needs to be spilled, basically. We are hoping for no blood, but we are not blind to the truth either.
This regime seems particularly violent, and they don't seem to have any scruples about killing women and children because, I mean, they're poisoning little girls.
Well, Khomeini, when he took over the country, in one of his first speeches said, for this revolution to stay alive, blood needs to be shed. And it needs to be shed every year and every once in a while. And people cheered to that back then. They did not understand what he was saying, but we are seeing the fruit of his speech now.
Yes. It's unfortunate. Um, I would certainly beg that you and your family stay safe, um, considering how brutal this regime seems to be and how aggressive his morality police and revolutionary guard seem to be.
Well, let's face it, Cats. Every time we do this, we find out things are much worse than we even expected. This whole women are not allowed to sing thing, that was news to all of us. And you know, as well as being brutal, I mean, that's just bizarre. Not allowing women to sing. That's yeah,
It is bizarre.
yeah. Just a quick bit of news while I'm blabbering on here. We want to bring special attention to Silver Earth, who's made a direct donation for $10. We just realised that's $10 a month. That's not just a one-off donation; it's a recurring donation. So very, very, very special thanks to you for that, Silver Earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We
And
did get a couple of new questions. I don't know if Amy wants to bring those up.
Sure, we can bring those right up here. We've got a couple questions here. The first one is from Who Dat Dragon, who says, I would like to ask Alex, what is the most useful thing the people of the USA can do right now that will help the freedom fighters of Iran?
well, Yeah, I'm starting to have this memorized. As I said before,
Yeah.
bring attention to what's happening, because
Hmm.
one of the fuels that keeps the people going is the rest of the world talking about them. It's what keeps
Yes.
us hopeful. It's what gives us energy. I did not believe in cheering from the people when I saw like soccer matches. I was like, doesn't all this cheering get distracting for them? And then I'm in this situation, and I now understand, when people are paying attention, we have the energy and the psychic capacity to stomach what's happening to us and go through it. So keeping us alive in your conversations on the internet, off the internet, really helps.
Excellent.
And also, as I said before, bringing this to the attention of your local government, uh, what do you call them? Officials? No.
Yep,
Yes.
you can. Yeah, either your ministers of parliament or your representatives will work. Yeah, anyone like that. So definitely spread the word.
Like, we have reached the point where I can say, even if they are not going to help us, your parliament and your government, at least make them not side with the Iranian government either, because some people,
Absolutely.
it's they are getting an increase in allies, and that's worrisome.
That is worrisome.
Very
I think
worrisome.
um I think one of the best things that people of the USA can do right now, aside from uh, certainly you can very easily look up and contact your congressman. Um, every district of the United States has one, and uh, you can. They have an address that you can send them a letter, and I think they have email now too.
Hmm.
So contact your congressman. It's free and easy and quick to do, or donate, which is intensely helpful. And that seems to be about it as far as what we can do from a distance right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a second question from Adolf Ariuf, who says, Alex, do you think the regime or others in shadows can split Iran?
Can it split Iran? What?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't get that question either,
Oh,
but yeah,
I
sorry.
understand. I
Oh,
understand what
okay,
he's
good.
saying.
Okay.
There are people who are trying to redirect some of the revolution and say it's uh, a an attempt to split Iran into separate countries.
Hmm.
Basically, the government from the start had said this is separationists trying to like separate like part of Kurdistan or Azerbaijan or Boyramat to their separate countries, or join like the Azerbaijan to be joined by the country as Azerbaijan, or Kurdistan to become its own country. And there are certainly people who would love that, but the majority of Kurds, Azers, and the rest of Iran does not want that. And I don't think the ones who wants this to happen will not succeed, because the people are more united than you can imagine.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
And
brilliant.
and also I think it's worthy to bring this, because he might have seen this on the news. There was the coalition that we have had with Reza Pahlavi and his allies were
Hmm.
reading live their uh, like sets of rules and goals and things like that. And one of them was for the tamamiyat arzi. What was the word? Give me a moment.
Sure.
Uh, Territorial integrity. And one of these people who were reading this did not read the line about territorial integrity, and Reza Pahlavi, who's the only one in that group that people accept as someone who can lead them to some extent at least, and accept as their spokesperson, just got up and left the room. And I think that sent a strong message, because the people didn't stop supporting him. No one stopped supporting him. The people who stopped supporting the rest of the coalition for having made this mistake. That just shows what the stance of the Iranian people is. So, short answer to your question, no, it is not possible.
Exactly. Thank you.
But even if it was, it would be far better for Iran to be split into 3 countries than to continue under this regime.
And there we go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We also did get 2 super chats in. One from Crazy Cat 1 for $25 says, "For 800 years, my nation fought for its freedom. Eventually, we got it. Never give up. Good will always prevail. Freedom will always win." And then that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Crazy Cats. And then we got Who Dat Dragon for $5 says, "A little bit I can give to help Alex and the freedom fighters of Iran." Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Thank you.
Amen to that. 600 years, 800 years, that's crazy, and respect to your nation.
Well, Alex, this is a worldwide community, so we're not entirely sure where this coming from. So it's just not the United States. We have people from all around the world supporting you.
Appreciate it.
We are a rather international group.
Everyone's so quiet now.
Everyone's so quiet now.
I feel like I talk too much, because the first time I was on the show, people actually talked, and now
we have
I feel like I'm talking too much.
You're not talking.
Don't worry, Alex. It's purely because Dick is quiet, and normally his voice is the dominant one, and so the rest of us like sit in silence under his reign. So when he's not available to talk, yeah, we're all kind of a little bit lost, but we're trying to keep up. But no, don't talk too much. It's exactly what people are here for. They don't want to listen to us ramble on. So with that, I'm going to shut up. Katz, you can take over with another question if you want, if you've got another personal question for him.
Fantastic. As it stands, I'm sitting here thinking of what next to ask. Is there any particular thing that you are hoping, like what would be the next stepping stone up? I mean, I understand that right now, as far as the revolution, if you could have one aspect of the regime fall apart, one rule cease to be, what would it be?
There are so many rules. One rule, I think I need to think about one rule that can solve multiple problems. I studied law, so I know the fundamental of our national law, the Constitution. Our Constitution is like the origin of all our problems. If I can remove one law and hope for everything to at least change, it would be the position and power of the supreme leader.
Fair enough.
I think that would change so much.
You think that he himself is the root of your problems?
He himself, and look, the position of the supreme leader is now a well-known position. Which other countries have it? It was Adolf Hitler. It's Kim Jong-un, if I'm not wrong about his name, the North Korean leader. It's
Kim
these
Jong-il.
people. Yeah. It's these people. I think Kim Jong-un is like an actor or
Kim
something.
Jong-un is the son of Kim Jong-il.
Well, the son has the same position.
Yeah.
It's these kinds of people who take this position of supreme leader. They see themselves as something above humanity, and it is how they are treated. I'm living in a country with a supreme leader, and he is treated by the ones believing in him as a superior being. His word is law. He talks for the God. So if we
That
remove
is
that, that changes
horrendous.
so many things. If we remove the rule of a superior being, I can't imagine how my country would have fared in these 50 years if we didn't have a supreme being ruling over us. A supreme being who's not supreme at all. He's a sick old man. He's a pedophile, like Khomeini. He's a monster. And we have him as a supreme leader, and we have made every law. If you talk to the lawyers of the pro-government lawyers, they would say, not the liars know better to say this, but the pro-governments, they would say, oh, the supreme leader can't do anything. He doesn't hold any power. He's just a spiritual leader. Wrong. Our whole law, everything that's supposed to control him is controlled by him in law. By the law, he selects and orders the people who can, in the cases of him being corrupt, replace him. He selects who can replace him. He tells them what to do. I think that's like crazy.
It is crazy. If you could choose precisely how the government was arranged, like what type of government Iran would have, what would you choose?
Oh, well.
A
If I could,
republic, an oligarchy, a democracy?
if it was the perfect world and I knew it would work, I would say anarchy, but anarchy doesn't work. Anarchy just leads to more fucked up shit. So
Anarchy is
probably
chaos.
anarchy is chaos. But so probably instead a secular republic, probably.
That would be wonderful. And do you think that Reza Pahlavi could set that up for you?
Reza Pahlavi doesn't have a word in that. Reza Pahlavi is a leader of the revolution who has continuously, the reason we support him and accept him as a leader is he's continuously said that he
Working
will
on
not
your
take
behalf.
office and he will establish a situation where we can discuss what type of government we want and vote on it.
That sounds fantastic. I think it would be uh, wonderful if Iran could move to a government that was more focused on taking care of Iran and its people. Because Iran is its people, so the government is just getting weaker as it stands. And the people, even though they're getting weaker because they're hungry, their spirits are strong. And the spirit of the Iranian people is clear in everything that you've told us and what little that we can see in the news. The spirit of the Iranian people is dedicated to the idea of freedom.
For freedom, we would do anything other than, well, betraying our families and women and people who are we're fighting for. Why am I even explaining that? That's obvious.
Good to point out, though, just to clarify for everybody.
Good to
Not
point out.
everything.
Not everything. Loki, do you have anything else?
Just working here in the background, going through the tips and through the donations and everything. And I want to thank everybody that has donated. We are currently sitting at a little over $500 going to Alex at the end of the show.
Wow.
That is
Thank you all.
amazing.
That is amazing. And I'm absolutely grateful to everybody who's donated, because it would mean a lot to me if, Alex had a more comfortable setup. Just to be able to eat regularly and feed his kid and feed his wife. Like, for everybody in his house to have a meal when they should have meals, and to have snacks when they should have snacks, and things like that. Like, that is, I wish you the best, dude. And
Now, there is one other thing that people in the chat can do to help Alex. And it's kind of like, self-serving, unfortunately, but share this show out. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe, but generally share it. Tell all your friends. And hopefully next time Alex is on, there'll be 10 times more people watching and 10 times more possibilities that people can donate and help. There's, if you haven't got deep pockets and you can't help, maybe someone you know does. You never know.
indeed. All right, Loki, so you don't have anything else?
I was just, it's really disheartening. It's really disheartening that you have regimes like Iran, where they take what's supposed to be, a religion. Hey, be nice to everybody, be happy, be good. Everybody's going to be good and get rewarded, and just totally screw it up. Sorry, just totally screw it up and use that to control a government. You would think that if any of them actually read a history book, they would realize that shit doesn't work. It doesn't last that long. Not in the modern age. And I think what the regime did is they totally underestimated the people and the will of the people when they started all this this latest series of events a few months back.
Well, the thing is, Loki, what I find astonishing that like you said, in this modern age, these sort of regimes don't last. What really surprises me, as long as it is, I mean, the fact they're keeping all the information from the rest of the world and no one else can talk about it, I think that's winning for them, because that's where the modern world is. And if the modern world don't know about it, they can't help.
And I think that that also speaks towards how news is handled in this day and age. And years ago, decades ago, before news got monetized, you would get all kinds of news from everywhere. Didn't matter if it was made money or not. There was news about it. And now with news being monetized, especially in Western civilization, stuff like that. Well, if it's not going to bring in money for advertising and views and stuff like that, nobody's going to watch it. So why are we even going to report on it? I think part of the reason why it's lasted so long is a number of different factors. You got money, you got media, you got, control of information, them being so closed off. I'm trying to be civil. I'm going to keep a civil tongue, and I will leave it at that.
So what you're saying, Loki, is Alex and his freedom fighters need some kind of sponsorship deal. So the Iranian Revolution, brought to you by HelloFresh, something like that.
You know, it's really fucked up to say it, but that's kind of where the world's at these days.
Yeah.
We do have a new question in, though. Amy, did you want to bring that up?
Sure, we can definitely do that. We did have a question in there that was from Adolf Ariuf says another question. Alex, do you think I think we already answered this one, but I'm not sure. But do you think Reza Pahlavi can create government in exile? And if he and his forces can, is that good for the people of Persia?
So I'm wiping tears. Give me a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sure. Take as much time as you need.
Government in exile, I don't think, with how things have been going, I'm not hopeful for a government in exile right now. A government in exile needs, one of its principal needs to be established is to be recognized by other governments and heads of governments. And Reza Pahlavi has been being ignored by the rest of the governments because God knows why, because their profit lies elsewhere right now. Unfortunately, he doesn't have enough international support right now. I'm hopeful that it would change. And if he does create a government in exile and is recognized, yes, it would be good for us, because then he would be able to actually do something internationally to help us. A government in exile can even amass soldiers, create an army, if it is like greenlit by the United Nations to like free us in case we are under like guns and nuclear weapons and stuff like that. It would be amazing. With how things are going right now, I'm not like betting on that horse right now. Who knows? Things may change. I hope things would change.
With any luck, they will.
With any luck. Thank you all. I'm like every time, and for some reason, especially today, my heart is like really warmed by all the kindness, everyone who donated to our cause and to me. I'm really thankful. I'm not I'm not really good with words, it seems. I don't know how to express mine and my group's gratitude, but this does count and this does really help. So thank you all. I don't know what to say. Anyways, continue. Sorry
I
for
think
souring the mood.
you haven't soured the mood at all. And I think that you expressed it beautifully.
Thank you.
Now, and let's see. We talked about the future. We talked about what's going on now. Is there anything new in particular that hasn't hit our news that has come down from the regime lately?
I don't know what has hit your news.
Well, we've told you pretty much everything that we've been able to find so far.
Yeah, during the Nowruz, not much happened because it was a time of rest for both parties, basically, and unfortunately, it seems a time for them to plan their next moves. So other than their promises of being harder on us, and in some cases, acts of, like, as I said, so many people have lost their ability to make money right now. Other than what I said, they haven't had time to do much. It's been just a couple of days. I think, how many days was it? I think 4
Still
to
not
5
many.
days. I
It's
think
not
4
even
days
been a
since
full week.
Yeah. So we'll see during the next week what terrible plans they have for us. Not much else. I heard the news of Kiyomar's killing
Keomars,
himself from you guys. So
which is a
obvious.
crying shame.
Yeah, I will research it, and I will try to, like, use some of my connections to see if we can find out what he had written in his suicide letter, and
Okay,
we'll see if I can pull anything out from that.
fantastic. Best of luck on that.
Thank you.
Right, we have one last donation come. Gotta go now. Kind of ironic. $24.84. Alex, I admire you immensely. You have a quiet courage that is seldom seen. Well done, Shills, for putting this one on. It's so important to hear this. Yes, absolutely. It's very important that this keeps getting out there. So, yeah. Ironically, the name was Gotta Go Now. And it's our time, really. Time for us to gotta go. So maybe till next time, everybody. We'll do a little roundtable wrap-ups. Amy, do you want to say anything? Have you got any quick questions or anything like that? Or just want to say bye or kissy cuzzles and kitty cats?
Stay tuned. More cats will start coming again. Sorry, we've had I've had a sicko kid, and then now it's my turn. So we're hanging in there, but we'll get that going for you. Some more kitties coming soon with more stories about kitties. So I do want to say thank you so much to everyone for coming. Thank you. And thank you for all the support. And thank you for continuing to help us get the word out about it on. We really need to. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of this, but we haven't seen very much in the news lately. It seems like they're clamping down on that again. So we need to make sure that we do get that word out. And I do know that there were some people who were doing that already. So thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okie dokie. Dick Dawson, I don't know if you do a cough or a sniffle or anything, but we won't expect anything from you. Commando 401.
Alexander, you're a very brave person, inspirational, and I hope that your revolution is successful and that you find what it's like to live in a real, I'd say, representative democracy / republic, someplace where the people's voice is heard and where you don't have to live under the threat of violence for having a 13-year-old's birthday party.
Thank you.
Too right.
Hopefully.
Too right. And okay, so Cats and Studios. Want to say anything to wrap up?
Of course. I am absolutely just beside myself with how grateful I am for all the support that's come in for Alex. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. So of course, I wish you the best. And I'm thrilled that we have had the support and reach that we have, and hopefully we will continue to gain more.
Thank you, Cats. And Loki Fish. Got something to gibber on about?
Sure, why not? To all those watching, whether you're watching it live now or watching it after the show's over, you want to help Alex? Here's what you can do to help. Contact your representatives in government. Whatever country you live in, contact your representatives. Scream at them about this. Contact your news media outlets. Scream at them about how they're not covering what's going on. Share this. If you want, I don't know about anybody else here, but hey, I would be perfectly fine with folks mirroring this on their own channels, even if they never put a video out, ever. If there's any video you want to put out on your own channel to get the word out to help Alex, make it this one.
Just make sure that the donation link is the top line of the description so it's easily found.
Yep. And I want to thank Alex for being so brave to come on. You and I know tech. You and I know how risky it is to come on shows like this and speak out. You're an amazing man. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you, Loki. And our last word will come from the man himself. Yes, like Loki says, insanely brave just coming on this show or on any show. Well, insanely brave coming on this show. I mean, you've seen it, good grief. I wouldn't come on this show. But Alex did. And thank you so much, Alex, for coming on and telling us everything that you can at the moment. Next time we'll get you on. We'll hope to have some new news, better news. But, we'll see about that one. But thank you so much for coming. And so the last words will come from you before I just tie it off at the end. And Alex, if you want to say something in your mother tongue, help yourself.
Absolutely. Thank everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. God knows the people of Iran have been really wishing they had a stage to speak from for 50 years now. And thank you for providing that. Thank everyone. I thank everyone for listening and everything that you are doing and you will be doing, and even thinking about us goes a long way. And that's it. Hopefully next week or whenever I'm here again, if you would have me, I would have better news. I'll try to achieve that.
We always want to hear better news. Just very, very quickly, just last second come in from Gustav is another donation for $50. Good luck out there, Alex. Godspeed. Now, one of the things I've got to say, what I do find amazing, the amount of love there is in this world for other people. It's astonishing. If only we had a little bit more. But until next time, like I said, if you want to help and you haven't got the deep pockets and you can't shout at congressmen or whatever, just share this show out as much as you can, and you never know, maybe we can get more help for Alex in the future. So until next time, everybody, we'll leave it to you, Dick Dawson, to press the big red button and say good night, everybody.
We have two buttons. The first one is a special message from all of us to Supreme Leader. I told you, I will swallow.
Yes.
It's over. Go home.